three or four of us attended the 20th anniversary celebration of Africa University. We had an opportunity to take a side trip to the Fairfield Children's Home. Fairfield is an orphanage, and they house probably, when we were there, about 70 to 80 children. These are children who have been abandoned. These are children whose parents have died. These are kids who've been thrown out like trash. And so there they are in little housing units of maybe 8 or 10 students with a mother and some assistants. And so we visited them in a little gazebo outside. We came and they were there, and they circled around, and some hugged and some looked at us and we looked at them, and we had gifts. And long story short, as Jesus was moved with compassion, or as the Good Samaritan was moved with compassion at the man on the road, we were moved. That group, you couldn't look at those orphans, and you couldn't look at them hanging on kids from other places without being moved. And at some point we were so moved, we said, well, let's take up an offering. And we took that offering of $550 or something like that, and we left. We didn't get a chance to go to the school. That grieved me too, and it grieves me now because we had the chance of a lifetime, and we left, and there they are. So we never visited those other kids in the school. But we later learned that the $550 that we brought was a time when their cupboard was essentially bare. They had nothing. And so, and then we had others who contributed, but now the keystone was going back to the celebration, because there's only about a mile difference between the Fairfield and AU. Folks, if you see AU, it's a magnificent campus. They've got all kinds of things going. Money's pouring in there from all over the church. And so they asked me to preach, but these orphans were still on my mind. But here's the story that really put them on my mind. I don't remember exactly, but John Carrera, who I went to school with at Garrett, quite frankly, told the story of a young man from some African country who had walked, ridden, begged a ride, whatever, maybe come 800-900 miles to go to AU, and how he finally made it to AU, and they were able to take care of him and give him an education, et cetera, et cetera. And so then the question came to me. I asked myself and asked the folks, what's the connection between AU and the orphanage? We get this young man who comes from almost 1,000 miles, and you all care for him. You've got the orphanage that's a mile from your campus, and there's no contact at all. I said, this ought not be. You ought to find a way to get them included in the vision for the future. Now I'll go in further. Some of the assistants who were helping those orphans were from European countries. Why couldn't AU in this class on sociology, a class on Bible, have interns working over there at that orphanage? Or bring them over to campus every now and then, or saying there's going to be one scholarship that's going to be waiting for somebody to graduate. But anyway, that's a long story short. And I still have not really found out the answer today, but that one still grieves my conscience and my spirit, and I would say again, probably goes back to my childhood, no father, et cetera, the sense of feeling abandoned, but yet the church being a key essential in my journey and picking me up in all the places where I had the leaning sides.